In a small town, where the roads were narrow and the houses stood close together, lived a widow named Myra and her son Rafi, after Rafi's father passed away when he was just 5. Myra was left with nothing but a small basket, a few cooking tools, and a love so deep it could carry her through any storm. She had no savings, no job, and no family to lean on. But she made a promise to herself. Her son would go to school. Education, she believed, was the only gift she could give him that would last a lifetime. And so, her days began long before the sun stretched across the sky. In a small, dim kitchen, her hands worked tirelessly, shaping dough, wrapping banana leaves, and stirring pots of sweet rice. She prepared snacks and traditional cakes to sell around the neighborhood. As Rafi slept soundly on a thin mattress, Mira would gaze at him and whisper a quiet promise. "You will have a better life than this." After her morning preparations, she'd lift her basket and walk from street to street, her voice a gentle call to the neighbors. Some days were good. Her basket would be empty by noon. Other days, she sold almost nothing. On those tough days, she'd simply smile and tell herself, "Tomorrow will be better." She shielded Rafi from her struggles, carefully saving every coin in a small tin box hidden under the floorboards. Rafi grew up watching his mother's unwavering dedication. He saw the cracks on her hands, the way her feet swelled after walking all day, and how her smile sometimes looked weary. One night, when he was 10, he asked her, "Mother, why do you work so hard?" Mira's hands, weathered but gentle, cupped his face. "So you can stand where I never could," she said softly. From that day forward, Rafi understood. He poured all his energy into his studies, knowing his education was not just for him, but for the woman who sacrificed everything. As he entered high school, the expenses grew. Mira started waking up even earlier, walking farther from home to sell her cakes. She endured relentless rain, biting winds, and the scorching sun. Her sandals wore thin, and her shoulders ached from the heavy basket. Sometimes people ignored her. Other times, they'd try to bargain her prices down so low it barely covered her costs. Through it all, she never complained. Rafi, heartbroken to see her struggle, offered to quit school and find work. But Mira was firm. "If you stop now," she told him, "all this pain becomes meaningless. Keep going. Finish what we started together." So Rafi continued. He studied late into the night, his eyes burning, his head heavy, refusing to let his mother's efforts be in vain. His discipline and intelligence didn't go unnoticed. Teachers saw his potential, and he began to earn scholarships. Kind people who believed in his dream offered their support. Years melted away. One morning, Mira found herself sitting in a large, grand hall. Her familiar basket was gone, replaced by a handbag borrowed from a neighbor. She wore a simple, neatly pressed dress, her hair carefully tied back. Her hands, those same hands that had worked so hard for so long, trembled in her lap. She was at a graduation ceremony. Then she saw him, Rafi, walking across the stage in a black graduation gown and cap, a golden sash across his shoulders that read Bachelor of Economics. The hall erupted in applause, but Rafi's eyes found only one person, his mother. With his diploma in hand, he walked toward her, knelt down, and placed it in her hands. "This is yours," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "You carried me here." Mira couldn't speak. Tears streamed down her face as she hugged him tightly. In that one embrace, all the years of pain, fatigue, fear, and hope were released. She had poured her entire life into raising her son, fighting without rest, without doubt, and without regret. And now, the future she had prayed for stood right before her. From that day on, Rafi found a good job at a respected company, and Mira finally rested. Her long walks from street to street were over. She spent her days at home, tending to flowers in small pots, a constant, peaceful smile on her face as she waited for her son to come home each evening. The cracks on her hands never fully disappeared. They remained as a beautiful, enduring testament to her strength, her love, her sacrifice, and a promise she had kept against all odds. No story of success begins easily, but the most beautiful ones are always written by hearts that refuse to give up. A mother's love is one of them,